All right, the Padres are taking on the Cardinals this weekend, and the Lakers are going against OKC in the NBA playoffs. There's no shortage of sports events this weekend. Here to break it down is legendary sports broadcaster Lee Hacksaw Hamilton. Lee, it's Saturday morning. Let's do this.
Good morning, Jason. I wish I had good things to talk about, but I do not right now. San Diego Padre baseball, there are red flags everywhere involving this team. Padres, not enough pitching. We've talked about that all spring. And now the big money, big bats are not hitting. Last night, starting pitcher Griff Canning went 4 really strong innings and then died on the hill in the 5th. Got no help at all. He gave up 6 hits along the way in that 5th inning, and then just a monstrously bad play by Fernando Tatis out in right field. The Padres wind up losing 6-0 to the Cardinals. Friars have lost 7 of their last 10, and at this point in time, mistakes and the inability to make plays, the big issue with the Padres. And the biggest issue is we've seen Fernando Tatis make some unbelievable plays in right field. This was not one of them. This was with the bases loaded last night. It opened the floodgates. They wound up scoring 6 runs in the 5th inning against Canning. They did nothing against Michael McCreevy, and the Padres are in dire straits because they're not hitting. Get this, going into the game last night, Padres 28th in team batting average, 27th in OPS, 30th in runners in scoring position. Tatis, no homers in 38 games. Machado's hitting $195. Cronenworth, 149. Gavin Sheets, 223. And Laureano has slumped to 225. They got issues lots of places. And here's a shocker of all. Nice start to the season, Jason. They played only 2 teams with winning records, and now they're starting to play real people, including the Cardinals, who have now beaten them the first 2 games of the weekend series. We got issues.
Yes, so NBA playoffs.
Lakers, speaking of issues, out with the old dynasty, in with the new dynasty, Oklahoma City Thunder. Lakers must-win game tonight. They're down 2-0 to OKC. Lakers have not been able to play defense. Lakers have not been able to stop anybody. And at the same time, the Lakers' scoring has gone away, and they're fussing and feuding with the referees. I've never seen anything like this with Laker basketball. Egregious calls by the refs, but way too much flopping, way too much whining, way too much in terms of fouls and technical fouls. Lakers got huge problems. Game 3 tonight, LA, 5:30. They're in big trouble. Speaking of basketball, from that on the court, let's go to off the court. Tomorrow, NBA Draft Lottery. Those are the 5 worst teams in the NBA. This has been an atrocious year for teams. Draft lottery is tomorrow. Cam Boozer of Duke is likely to be the #1 pick. You got Washington, which has been an incompetent franchise. Indiana, which was a championship team but then shredded by injuries, is in the lottery. Brooklyn's had no success at all. Sacramento has a history of failure. And Utah's got a really good young team, all wrecked by injuries last season. One of those guys is going to get access to Cam Boozer. A couple big men in the draft, and 5 really good guards. Draft lottery tomorrow evening, pro basketball.
Okay, we got the NHL playoffs, too.
Change into the guard in hockey. Here came the Anaheim Ducks. Here comes Montreal. Here comes Buffalo. Ducks had stolen home ice advantage against Las Vegas, coming home last night at the Honda Center and fell apart. You got to learn how to win in crunch time. Now understand this. The Ducks wound up getting blitzed. They lost 6-2. End of the day, the Ducks have 13 players on their roster that are in the playoffs for the first time ever. This Las Vegas team has got just an enormous veteran talent. Ducks got to pick up the pieces, but they've lost home ice advantage. They got another home game in Anaheim. Then they got to go back to Vegas. But don't rule them out. These are good kids. Great coach Joe Kenville. I think they have a chance to climb back in this.
Okay, action on golf course.
A lot of controversy. What's going to happen next? PGA versus the LIV. The Saudi Public Investment Fund has decided not to put any more money into the failing LIV. And what happens to the players? And look at the named players on the LIV who left here to go play there to take the blood money. They don't think they're going to be allowed to come back. What Bryson DeChambeau said, what Jon Rahm has said, and what anonymous PGA golfers have said about the guys who left, the Phil Mickelsons, the Dustin Johnsons. They violated their tour card. They tampered with their players. They must pay a price. And at this point, these guys are in big trouble.
Wow. The passing of Ted Turner.
Just amazing. If I asked you a question, I mentioned his name, what do you remember? Look at the resume of Ted Turner. Entrepreneur, obviously, the guy was a bit of a rogue, a trailblazer, a swashbuckler, a creative genius. All the things he founded that changed the landscape of our industry, television, what he did with the goodwill games. This man had relationships everywhere. He met with presidents, he met with popes, he met with Putin, he met with Castro, and he did so much for charity in terms of contributions to the United Nations, to NATO, and to fund the hungry. Very unique man. I would have to say this, a man for all seasons, and maybe the most interesting man in the world.
Well said. He was something else.
Really was.
Made sure we all got to watch the Braves games.
That and many, many other things.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Lee Hacksaw Hamilton. All right. We'll see you next Saturday.
Have a great sports weekend. Thanks, Jason.
You too, Lee.